orange and blue. Boys will stand and cheer for you. Fight for institution, our alma mater. Bravely defend. Fight for the soul by the orange and blue. Boys will stand and cheer for you. Fight for institution, our alma mater. Bravely defending BSU. Success in our maker trade. White spark condition as a competition. Glory for BSU. Fight for the soul by the orange and blue. Boys will stand and cheer for you. Fight for institution, our alma mater. Bravely defending BSU. Fight courageously for Boise State. Success in our maker trade. White spark condition as a competition. Glory for BSU.
Hey, Boise State fans. He's Sam Gillette with Sam Talk Sports, and I'm Nick from Bronco Nation Updates. Welcome to Bronco Nation Live. The NFL Draft Preview. We are streaming directly to you on YouTube, BroncoNationUpdates.com, and Facebook. Bronco Nation Live is a production of Bronco Nation Updates and Blue Elevation by Boise State fans for Boise State fans. Well, Sam, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a great Tuesday. We are in draft week, getting excited for our guys in blue and orange.
Yeah. Maybe they'll stay in blue and orange after the draft. Who knows?
There's at least one chance that they could, right?
Yeah.
So, we're glad everybody joined us. We want to make sure that this is an interactive show. So, make sure that you are putting your comments, your questions. Where do you want Ashton, Jeanty, and Ahmed Hassanein and Seyi Oladipo and the crew? Where do you guys want them? Where do you guys think they're going to be drafted or signed? Where do you want? Who's your favorite team, and would you like to see Ashton, Jeanty be drafted there? During our show, we are going to do a preview of the 2025 NFL Draft. We will we'll cover the top players we think are gonna be drafted, or even like high signing prospects, and then we're gonna also look at the history of Boise State, and we'll even go through maybe our top 10 prospects in the 2025 draft. So if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and put those in the chat. I will say that probably the best way to interact with us is on YouTube, but if you're on Facebook and you want to comment there, we can get those there too. But it's a lot funner on YouTube, and that also helps us monetize our videos, so that we can give back to Boise State that way. So with that in mind, let's see. I'm gonna kind of I want to shout out to the mainline dancers for Boise State. They just hauled in a couple national championships. So congratulations to Kelsey Messer and her crew. That's a big deal, and Bronco Nation's very proud of you for bringing home the hardware. Also, in softball, the team is currently in the top six. Top six teams get to go to the tournament at the end of the year to grab that, to get a chance at the automatic qualifier for the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. They do have a game tomorrow at the DLP against Idaho State, and then they have a break after that. So I think it's just a makeup game. But we've got our first comment coming in, and
Hey.
and we've got some family ties here. Ahmed Hassanein says she wants Ashton and Hamed to be on the same team. That would be pretty cool.
I have a scenario where that happens. We'll touch on it a little bit later.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Madi. So with that in mind, keep those comments rolling in. And again, whatever you comment or question, we will feature it on the show while we're doing this draft preview. So with that in mind, why don't you, Sam, our statistician, get us going?
Yep. I do want to say a quick thing, too. Boise State's becoming quite the championship U right now. I mean, you've got the mainline dancers. The tennis team just won the regular season title. Their esports team's taken off. The men's football team won. Basketball team, obviously, runners up. We're making waves. The Pac-12 ain't ready for us. But there have been a total of 74 Broncos drafted since 1951. In fact, the first Bronco ever drafted was Dwight. The name's where'd it go? There it is. Dwight Winslow. He was a running back, the first running back ever drafted for Boise State. He actually just passed away last year down here in Texas. But he was the very first Bronco ever drafted that kicked off the next 74 or 73. We've had 5 first rounders. Had to make sure I said that right. In 2018, obviously, Leighton Vander Esch, went number 19 overall to the Cowboys. McClellan and Doug Martin in 2012 went 19 and 31 respectively to Chicago and Tampa Bay. Kyle Wilson in 2010 went to the Jets, and then of course the highest draft pick in Boise State history, Ryan Clady, went 12 overall to the Broncos. McClellan and Doug Martin, they rounded out the best draft class in Boise State history in 2012. They were joined by Tyrone Crawford, went 81st overall in the third round to the Cowboys. George Iloka, man, these are some names going down memory lane, man. When I was reading these off, man, some good names. Iloka went to Cincinnati in the fifth round at 167 overall. You had Billy Wynn go to Cleveland in the sixth round at 205. And then Nate Potter, that name sounds familiar. He went to Arizona in the seventh round at 221 overall. And over the since 2010, there's one Bronco drafted in every draft since 2010. So it's quite a feat. That's why people come to Boise State. Is the draft, the 74 draft that started with the running back, and this year's draft, Boise State draft class is probably going to start with a running back as well. we all know that there's a name on the top of everybody's board. They're just getting ready to pull the trigger on them.
Right, and just to put it in perspective here too is, Jim McMillan's number 12 is retired at Boise State, and he was taken in the 14th round in 1975. So that kind of tells you, Bronco Nation, where we've been and where we're going. As far as retired numbers, you can take that one. Like, again, the 14th round. They don't even have 14 rounds anymore. They cap it at 7 now. So we're doing pretty good days.
Well, let's take a moment to reflect on how good that 2012 class was for Boise State. I mean, Shea McClellan, Doug Martin. I loved one of the greatest joys I had that year was watching the muscle hamster churn it out. He was fun to watch. And then seeing him have the success that he had at Tampa Bay in 2013, the 2012-2013 year, that was fun. He was a fun back to watch, and I'm glad we get Ashton Jeanty and Ian Johnson, and the Boise State has a history of putting out some fun running backs, the ones that are going to get in there, run you over, and make a play. So, another interesting note, since 2000, it's only been 3 years where Boise State didn't have a player drafted since 2000. So I guess you don't get 74 players in the draft without while missing years. So without any further ado, let's talk about Jeanty, shall we?
Sure.
Over his career with Boise State, he had 750 carries, 4,769 total yards, averaged 6.36 yards per game, and had 50 touchdowns on the ground, while getting 80 receptions for 862 yards and 6 touchdowns. He even had 2 returns for 33 yards. So he's not a special teams guy, but he has the stats for it. And the stat that gets me the most, quite frankly, is the fact that he was both the number 1 and number 2 rusher in the 2024 season. He was number 1 overall, and his yards after contact was number 2 overall. That is ridiculous. And I like what he said. This is tackle football. I draft the guy you can't tackle. His numbers prove it. And for those that say, oh, well, he played against lesser competition, show me another guy that had that many yards after contact against the same competition. It's a generational thing. You can't teach that kind of talent. That is weight room, hard work, in your face, leadership material. Get in there and bust it up. He's going to make a great back in the NFL, and I'm excited to see who he goes to and how well he does. It's not a matter of if he's going to do well. It's a matter of how well is he going to do, because he's going to do good.
Yeah, and for those that say that, even his yak led the nation, which is ridiculous. His yak led all other running backs.
Yeah, I think he was like 20-something yards over more than Cam Scatterbo. It might have been a little bit more than that, but it wasn't like, oh, well, he just barely beat out. Some people may say 20 yards is barely beating out. But even that's yards after contact. That's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't think there's – correct me if I'm wrong. I couldn't find anything. I don't think there's ever been another running back out there whose yards after contact was greater than the next running back to him. It's mind-blowing even to think about it now. It was mind-blowing to think about it during the season when we were watching it live. It's even more mind-blowing to think about it now that he's about to go in the NFL. I just hope he can carry that same success over. And if he goes to one of these teams, he might have to carry that same success over if they don't get him aligned.
Well, you did bring up Doug Martin, and just to put things in perspective here, right? Doug Martin had a great career with Boise State. Not quite like Ashton Jeanty, and look at the success that Doug Martin had on a, I don't know, they at the time they were the Tampa Bay Bucks. He got drafted onto there. I mean, they were probably in the middle of the pack, I would say. And just look at the success that he had. So if Jeanty can somehow be drafted by somebody who maybe somebody jumps up, which we'll talk about it. If he gets on a team that's in the middle of the pack, or even is a successful team, and they go by that blueprint that that the Eagles and Barkley went by and put a great running back on a good team, the sky's the limit for Ashton. I believe.
I'm excited to see how he does, and this is my wishful thinking landing spot for Ashton Jeanty. The Cowboys are at number 12. Jeanty's not going to be on the board at number 12. I see the Cowboys trading up with the New England Patriots and taking Jeanty at 4. That's wishful thinking right there. And then Hassanein getting drafted by the Cowboys in the 5th round. There you go. Teammates again.
We have the Maui Snow Tech says, I think Jeanty would be fun to watch on Jacksonville and Chicago, since they both have great pieces on their team but are missing a key running back. So won't be sad if he goes to either of those. He has a good chance at getting picked up by Jacksonville, but if Chicago wants him, they're going to have to trade up. That's for sure. Yeah,
I think realistically, Jacksonville is going to be his landing spot unless there's a trade. Really, anywhere 4, 5, or 6 are going to pick him up. He's not going to be on the board after pick 6. You've got the Patriots need a running back, Jacksonville needs a running back, and the Raiders need a running back. And one of those teams are going to take him. So realistically, I think we're looking at a Jacksonville Jaguar landing spot, unless the Cowboys trade up for him.
And we got a follow-up by Maui Snow Tech. I've been hearing Chicago might trade up with the Raiders, which would be crazy for the Raiders to do less. They really want someone to do less. They really want someone else.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a clear cut path for him to be on the Raiders either, because
Yeah.
I'm hearing from the experts that that even possibly, since Ashton put out that that letter to the GMs,
Yeah.
and you said his quote, right?
Yep.
That's going well with them, and there's swirling chatter that are saying that possibly the Browns
Mm-hmm.
and Giants may be looking to trade their picks for somebody to come up and snag Jeanty before it gets down to New England and Jacksonville.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, from all indications, unless New England doesn't take them and they go for I think they're in a need for, and they do have a need for a running back, but I think that they have a greater need, if I'm not remembering correctly, it might be on the line or something like that.
Yeah.
If they don't take that, if they don't take Jeanty, then, and somebody doesn't trade up, I have a really good feeling that Jacksonville will snag him, because they actually need a pass rusher, but there's not a grade A pass rusher, that you would pick in the first round. So the best available at that spot would be a grade A running back, which they could use.
And
so
with their O-line and D-line, you can develop some lesser talent to fill the void until next year, and grab your guy next year. Like Ashton says, get the guy that can't tackle him. Do you really need an O-line if they can't tackle him anyway? So it's just one of those deals, man. I really want to see him go higher than what some of these projections are showing him go. And with this not being a quarterback-heavy draft class, that's helping his stock a whole lot. I still think Travis Hunter's overhyped at number 2, even though I have him in my mock at number 2, just because Cleveland's going to be dumb if they pass him up, just because of the hype around him. The GM's not going to live it down. I would really love to see Travis go to Cleveland, because Cleveland sucks. Drew Carey says so. So it must be true. So I don't want Ashton to go there, because, well, that's where hope and dreams go to die. So I'm okay with
so
now.
Where would your ideal spot be for Jeanty? And for you?
For me, Dallas. Dallas trading up from 12 to 4 to grab him from New England.
See, for me, I think he fits very well in New England's system. I think he would be very, very successful there. But also, if somebody trades up for him, like I said, that Saquon Barkley formula of bringing in an elite running back who's got all those skills, and Jeanty's got the same sort of skills. You put him on a successful team like, say, Kansas City, or
Kansas City with Jeanty.
Denver.
Yeah.
Denver could be in play here, Cowboys do need him, but so he would fit very well with like Denver, Kansas City, even Buffalo, yep, or even the Bears are on the fringe of being, they have pieces, but they, but you might see a big swing from what, if they're paying attention to what the Eagles did in 2024, if you want to put and I do think that that Jeanty is a day one starter with his regiment, the way that he works out and what he can do. You put him on a halfway decent team, and he's going to be real good.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
If he's not a day one starter, it's going to be because he's injured. So
yeah, or he's behind Saquon Barkley or something like that.
Right. Do you imagine the Eagles trading up to grab Jeanty and have that 1-2 punch in their backfield?
That'd be
that
crazy.
would be absolutely ridiculous, man. That talk about not giving the defense a break.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm hearing some serious chatter, about possibly the Browns and Giants, fielding questions about teams that want to jump up, and you do the math, right? It's not a heavy quarterback draft. It's the perfect draft for a guy like Ashton Jeanty coming from Boise State. He's going to make Boise State history of he's going to surpass, Ryan Clady being the highest draft pick we've ever had.
Yep. And I really hope he doesn't go to the Patriots either. I am not a Patriots fan either. And not just because of Tom Brady and Tom Belichick. I just – no. It's too cold up there. I want him down in Texas where I can go watch him play. But I think that the Giants, they've always been really high on Shedeur. They went to all his pro days. I believe there's a Giants representative at just about it, if not all of the Colorado football games. So I think they're high on him. So your Giants trading down with somebody wanting to trade up to pick up Jeanty, that's not, or anybody else for that matter, that's not too far off base from what could happen, because Sanders isn't a top 3 quarterback. And no draft anywhere. He's not a top 3 quarterback, or a top 3 pick, I should say. So for the Giants to be able to trade down and get him for less money, maybe even trade down to the first pick of the second round. Of course, it's the Browns that has the first pick in the second round, so I don't think that would actually happen. But anyway, if they trade down and get a later pick, then get Sanders in the bottom of the first round as opposed to having to pay all that money in the top. Sanders is accurate, but that's about all he is. He needs time to develop other skills as well, in my opinion. So
yeah, and it's been very bipolar and New York, and so let's take a look at Ahmed Hassanein.
Yep. For a guy who's only been playing football since 2019, this is going to be a really fun guy to watch, his journey in the NFL. Hassanein was my gut tells me that he's going to probably go in the 6th round, and I think he's going to end up being with the Jets in the 6th round. He may get the Colts or the Cowboys. I actually, in my wishful thinking, have him going in the 5th round to the Cowboys, where he will get to play with Ashton Jeanty some more. That's my wishful thinking, but I think he's going to be a 6th rounder, possibly to the Jets or the Colts. That's where I think. But again, 2019, he started playing football, and he racked up 120 tackles, 70 of which were solo tackles, had 24 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. You go pull any Joe Blow off the street in 2019 and say, hey, we're going to make you an edge rusher. Good luck. And I don't think there's very many out there that could do what he did. To not only to do it, but he had to learn the game and learn the schemes and learn all the nitpick things that you learn in your youth and your high schools and your junior highs and middle schools even, or Pop Warner, all those little things that you learn coming up, he had to learn it in 4 years. And now he's a draft pick or a potential draft pick and a notable one at that. He may not get the flash of the first round through third round guys, but he's going to be a draft pick. There's a lot of people out there that are real negative about some of his mechanics and stuff, but 2019, you're the people that draft him are going to be the ones that look through all of that. They're going to look through and say, okay, he still has some growing room. We're going to take him even though we have this position covered, because he does not have the wear and tear on his body that some of these other guys have, because he didn't start playing until, I've said it before and I'll say it again, until 2019. So he doesn't have that taxing strain on his body that some of these other guys have. So a team's going to come in that has that, maybe an older, someone said Clowney was getting up there in age, and maybe he goes and replaces him. But somebody's going to pick him up where they have some veterans that can help him with his mechanics and help him loosen his hips and get out there and get to where he's not missing some of the plays that he misses. And he's going to be phenomenal in a few years' time. But somebody's going to pick him up that already has that position covered with the sole intention of, this is our guy of the future. That's my take on him.
Yeah, for me, the way that I evaluate athletes is I'm really big on mental health, right?
Yeah.
That's a big part of my life. So I'm always looking at how is this individual's emotional IQ, EQ, and you take a person like Ahmed and you take him out of Egypt and throw him on the blue in Boise, and that takes a lot of mental fortitude to be able to come here, not even really grasping the language, the culture, all that, and just the way that he has adapted, and then and gone through that adversity and really shined and been very successful with Boise State, and just the type of person he is within the community as well. So I take all that kind of stuff as part of the package, right? That's why I believe, that's why I've said, since the beginning of last season, that Jeanty's a top 10 pick, and people at first kind of scoffed at me. And I'm like, he's got everything. He's got the whole package, the EQ, the IQ, the skills, everything. And Ahmed has that. His are a little bit, his development curve is a little bit behind because, again, they pulled him up out of, from the sands of Egypt, and they put him on the blue. So, and then for him to be a consistent leader in the Mountain West with sacks and just his leadership skills and all that. And he, as well as that, he had a tremendous combine, and he had an elite pro day. There's nobody in the nation that put up the bench more than he did. So for the whole package on Ahmed, I agree. I think he's going to go 5th or 6th round. I think that he really did he gave a great impression at the combine with the coaches during the drills. They saw how he buys in, right? And that's what you want on a team. And that's why he was so successful in on a Danielson defense, and then also on a Danielson led team. Because he's a captain on the field, captain in the community. He has strong faith in what he believes in his family and everything. And you have to have that when you're transplanted to places. And this is just the same, going from college into the pros, and you never know what city he's going to be in. Personally, I would love to see him to go to my favorite team, the Falcons. They're always in the need for some defensive line. I think that he would be a great piece to develop and get him into that system. But I also think that the consistent characters in the NFL that usually use Boise State as a kind of a farm system will be in play for him, like the Dallases, Seahawks, Denver. I think that the same thing kind of plays in sports with how I look at the way that I kind of judge athletes and stuff and teams is that recency bias. And so, I do feel like the teams that have current and former Boise State players on those teams, that he has a good chance at landing in the late rounds, like the 5th or 6th. I do think that he made a good impression on the LA Rams coaches in the combine, but I think that Jara really likes those Broncos, and I think the chances of him ending up in Dallas are pretty great.
Yeah. I just can't get over. I mean, to go from 2019 to the NFL draft, never playing competitive football, it's almost as mind blowing as Ashton Jeanty being the number 1 and number 2 rusher last year.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be smart to be able to do that, especially at the high level he played. Football isn't just about a big guy go tackle. You got to be smart. So
yeah, he even if they do, if his techniques are unorthodox, if the techniques are crisp to the individual and they work, which I mean I saw we saw plenty of highlights from the Senior Bowl, and he was flat out schooling people with his own techniques. So whatever works, and I also think that he would actually make a great fit with the LA Rams too. They've lost Aaron Donaldson, so they're in the the hunt for that next generational talent. And like I said, he's young, not as much experience. Just think what he could do developing on the NFL level, and having more time under his belt.
Could you imagine, and this is my last thought, could you imagine if the Chargers somehow came into play and you had Matlock and Hassanein on the Chargers defensive line?
That'd be awesome.
They might as well call them the Los Angeles Broncos at that point.
Yeah, it would be basically 2022 all over again.
Right. So there's one other name out there that's not getting all the draft talk, but he has a chance to, at minimum, go as an undrafted free agent, Nick. And who might that name be for you?
Yeah, I'm really high on Seyi Oladipo. He too had a great pro day from what I hear, and he's got that same the same qualities that I think any organization would look for: athletic, bursts of speed, but also that EQ, right? And that balance between that emotional health and also that community aspect. And he's one that he's a great example of that. During his whole career at Boise State, he's been a great human being. But why I really think that he has a really good chance of being drafted perhaps in the 7th round is because he has a huge highlight in the game against UNLV at home. last season when he made that touchdown saving tackle. He got up to 23 miles an hour that went viral. So I think he's got that going, as well as having, a great pro day and just his stats overall, career with Boise State. I kind of, when Scott Matlock got drafted, I thought he was going to go a little bit higher than he did, and he ended up getting selected in the 7th round. But reality was after the fact that what really helped him was he was like that Swiss Army knife, right? They put him on offense, and he caught a couple a touchdown or extra points. I think that Shay's got that going for him because of those viral moments that he's had, and just the fact that the speed that he showed on live TV in front of a couple million people. I think that alone probably gets him a 7th round pick, and I hope so. I actually think that he's worthy of a 6th round pick, just because of how valuable he was for the Boise State Broncos, both in talent and in leadership.
Yeah, and you talked about the UNLV game. That was a great momentum shift back to Boise State's favor. UNLV scores there. Who knows how the second half turns out?
And then after him, I do think that the other guys that are draft eligible, like Maui Snow Texas, I think Tubner will get a call after the draft and end up somewhere. Good all-around player, but also brings so much energy and heart to the team. Yeah, he's got the motor that I think teams will probably want to take a look at.
I think, and this isn't a knock on him at all, but I think he's destined for the CFL or the XFL or UFL now. So he does have high energy, but I think he lacks the size for the NFL.
Yeah, and that's something that he'll have to prove in minicamp if he gets the invite. And so, I'm hoping that he will. And just like every other year, it's just the NFL is hard, man. It's a hard thing. If you really want it, some players play around in the with the the practice squad for a while, and they pay their dues and they finally get an op. So that's kind of where George Holani is right now. He's in the struggle, but the Boise State Broncos, we have the heart of a champion. So we don't quit, and that nowadays there is a lot of opportunities out there outside of the NFL that even overseas that you can get paid playing the game that you love. It's not over if you don't make the NFL.
Yep.
Maui Snowtech says that he could see Tubner taking that route. So he agrees with you about the having that pathway to the CFL.
Just real quick, I had some stats pulled up on Oladipo, and I forgot to.
Okay, yeah, let's.
He had 180 in his career at Boise State. Had 184 tackles, 130 of which were solo. He had 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 interceptions. So, if he does get that chance, his tackle numbers are up there, but he's going to have to obviously work on his INTs. So
yeah, and I think if he's in the right system, it's doable. I think he's got that highlight reel that's going to be in his benefit.
Yeah, he's got the heart too. So.
Yep. Looking for a healthy change? Just breathe and let the organized experience help you embrace change. The Organized Experience team masters the art of helping people find freedom through decluttering, organizing, and creating organizing systems. So if you're looking for a healthy change in 2025, give the Organized Experience team the opportunity to help you. Please visit their website at theorganizedexperience.com. All right, and we are back. So we are going in this segment. We are going to kind of visit the our top 10 prospects for the 2025 NFL Draft.
Nick, I have
Yes, sir.
some head scratchers, but it's okay. Number 1 overall. Shedeur Sanders. Just kidding. Oh man, who would you take number 1 overall if you were the Tennessee Titans? Who's your number 1?
So I would probably just, I would go with on this one. I would go with all the other prognosticators with Cam Ward. They're saying that he's the top quarterback. If I were the creative guy that I am, I would, I don't know. I think that actually the top quarterback is the gentleman out of Alabama.
Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, just because he's got all the whole packages that I value. But I think. So there was all the back and forth during the college season about who's better, Cam Ward or Shedeur, and then once they really started getting both of them under the microscope, Cam Ward kind of distanced himself from Shedeur, and I think I do think a lot of that plays into that is that EQ from the Sanders family. It's not the best, there's confidence, right? But then when it kind of goes gets out of hand, sometimes it's not the best for your, as a prospect.
I actually think that the most underrated quarterback this year in the NFL is probably Jackson Dart. I think he could be a franchise quarterback by the time it's all said and done. Once he gets a chance to prove himself. But my number 1 overall pick, like you, is Cam Ward. If the Titans do go Abdul Carter, which they could, it's going to be they're basically given seeding to the fact that they're going to probably end up tanking this year to pick up Will Howard next year. So, but I do have him with Cam Ward right now over Carter.
And you've got an agreement. I think what I'm reading here is that Cam Ward is more than Sanders. I think he's saying Sanders seems cocky and selfish.
Yes.
And and I think that's kind of what's one of his downfalls with the scouts. So like if I would, if I didn't go with Cam Ward, then I probably would go with an Abdul Carter. Because he's a lot like Micah Parsons. Like he's a day one game changer when he's healthy.
Yes. Yeah. Number 2, who you got? I think we have the same too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the crowd, but still that element of trading up kind of does exist. But I have the Browns taking Travis Hunter.
Yeah, as do I. He's a generational talent. Love or hate the guy, he is good at what he does. Will it equate to success in the NFL? I don't know. We'll see. If he does all them little plant and cut and move around trying to get open moves that he was doing during his pro day, his quarterback's going to be laying on his butt whenever he turns around and looks for the ball. So he's got a lot of work to do. But if they can work him, I think he could be something. Whether he's elite and all out, remains to be seen. But I think he could be something.
I'm not sure what the validity is that I heard about Travis Hunter saying, he either wants to play both sides right away or he's not interested in playing. I could see, and that's where the Browns would probably give him whatever he wants, Right. If they're going to sign a guy like Deshaun Watson, they'll probably cowtail to Hunter there and let him sink or swim, I guess.
I hope it's true, and I hope they don't, so we don't have to listen to them. Number 3, who you got?
So right here, if everything stays legit and there's no trades, I got Abdul Carter going to the New York Giants.
Yep. If here's where the shakeup happens. If Tennessee goes Carter over Ward, will Cleveland or Cleveland will probably still take Travis Hunter. Do the Giants go Cam Ward then?
See, don't they have they've just got a potpourri, right? Do they have Sam Darnold, don't they? And Joe Flacco, maybe? Or did Joe Flacco go back to the Browns? Joe Flacco went back to the Browns. The Giants don't they Giants have Jameis Winston and Darnold or somebody like that, right?
Yep. So how far does Cam Ward drop if he's not picked by the Titans? Because the Patriots, they have Drake May, so they're not going to go for him. Jacksonville has Trevor Lawrence. Would they take Cam Ward? So the next time Trevor Lawrence goes down with a concussion, they got a good quarterback? Which, let's face it, it'll probably be in week 1, probably play 3.
Hope not, but
it looks like if Cam Ward doesn't go by the Titans, he's out of the top 5 at least. Who do the Raiders have at quarterback? I should have looked this up before I brought up this rabbit hole.
They have Geno Smith.
Okay, so the Raiders won't take him. The Jets maybe.
Yeah. That would be. But Jets it would be so Jet if they took Shador.
Yes, it would. So let's get back on track now. And so Abdul, we're in agreement. Abdul at number 3 to the Giants. I see that as a distinct. The top 3, I think, set in stone. Devil's advocate. I mean, if Tennessee doesn't want to pay for a quarterback this year and they want to wait for a better quarterback class for next year, I could see them going Carter over Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. Whenever you watch him play, he does not have what my dad likes to call rabbit feet. Whenever the pocket breaks down, he's smooth. He's not choppy. So I think Cam Ward's a good fit for Tennessee. So I don't see that happening. But number 4, New England. This is where we start getting into the possibility of seeing Ashton Jeanty go. Who do you have going at number 4?
So I have the source that I have, it says that that their greatest need is like a tackle. So they're going with Will Campbell. I think I agree with that, but I do think there's a chance that they go for Jeanty because, like I said, I think that he would be perfect for a Mike Vrabel run offense. It'll be smash mouth. Basically it'd be, what he's accustomed to at Boise State. Run the
Right.
ball, stiff arm your opponents. Run a really good system. That because we had a really good system with Dirk Cutter and so. But if it goes like the experts that I'm trusting, I think they'll go with Will Campbell at tackle. Get their their generational talent that they need.
And I see that, but I've decided Ashton Jeanty's with the Patriots unless someone trades up. Patriots seem like the best or the most likely top 5 team to grab him if anyone's going to grab him before the top 5, I should say, before Jacksonville. That spot right there, if anyone's going to trade, it's going to have to get Ashton Jeanty. It's going to have to be with the Patriots. So if there's any Dallas Cowboy front office people that are bored on a Tuesday evening and
watch a Bronco Nation live.
Bronco Nation live, go ahead and make that trade. But yeah, I've got Ashton Jeanty, and back at number 5, I do have Will Campbell with Jacksonville. Jacksonville does need some offensive tackle, so Will Campbell I still have up there in the top 5 offensive tackle from LSU. Jacksonville needs that help, needs the protection for Trevor Lawrence. So they also need the explosive playmaker. So if Jeanty's still on the board, if the Patriots do go offensive tackle, then I think that Jacksonville is going to take Jeanty. So
yeah, and I agree. I'm thinking if if things are swirling and GMs are listening to the wind, and they have a hunch that New England's going to pick Jeanty, and they have a need for a running back, a grade A running back, they're going to be calling the Giants, and trying to get there before the Patriots do. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if he wound up in New England. I actually think that would be a great spot for him. I think he'd be really successful there.
Yeah.
So if New England, we could swap maybe. Yeah. Because, so in mine, if New England does take Will Campbell, which is their need, at number 5, Jacksonville would take Jeanty, I believe, because their greatest need is a pass rusher, and there's not really a grade A pass rusher in here. There is one. It's a defensive tackle, but really they're looking for something on the edge. And if Abdul Carter's taken, that's the grade A edge that they actually need. So
if the Cowboys or if someone trades up to number 3 to grab Jeanty, and the Giants trade down, that puts Carter. He could fit that role in Jacksonville. Then that could be a scenario where Carter makes his way to Jacksonville.
Yeah, that would probably be the scenario where they do get their need. But
and New England goes Will Campbell at offensive tackle, and that'd be interesting. Be an interesting scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas at number 6, I've got Armand Membu. Hope I said that right. Offensive tackle out of Missouri. The Raiders need some offensive tackle help, so I figure why not throw them that one.
Mm-hmm. And see, at 6, I have the source that I'm using. They're I think what they're doing is they're placing at number 6. The best available pick,
right?
Like in grade, and I think it would be actually a good bolster to help Max Crosby is Mason Graham at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like if both Abdul Carter and Jeanty are gone, for Jacksonville, they would probably end up taking Mason Graham, but I have him landing at 6.
Yeah. Vegas would be if Jeanty's not off the board by 6, then there's something wrong with the GMs of the NFL.
Yeah.
Probably everyone needs drug tested.
Yeah. And we gotta talk about that. If he's not gone by 6, he's definitely that's a lock. He's not going anywhere lower than 6 for sure.
Yeah, if he's not gone by 6, he's probably Saints, probably not even Saints, probably Chicago at number 10, if he's not gone by 6. At number 7, I have Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State, going to the Jets. They need some playmakers, and they can also block.
And if anything, he can help out on their line too, because they do need some line help too. And that's why I have Armand Membu for tackle on the Jets. But you like we see at Boise State all the time, you can use some big tight ends to help protect the outside there.
For Carolina at number 8, a name that you've already pulled off the board, I have Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan. For Carolina, helping their defensive line.
And I have it's on defense too. So I have Jalen Walker, edge / edge linebacker type.
I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm going interior, you're going edge.
And vice versa.
Yeah. For the Saints at number 9, I've got Will Johnson, cornerback, from Michigan. The Saints need some secondary help, so he'd be a decent fit. I don't think anyone's talking about him for the Saints though, so that's why I said I have some head scratchers because of what I did with him.
So the fact that Derek Carr has some shoulder issues, either he may be missing the season because of it, or maybe he's not happy there. We don't know. But kind of makes things interesting right there at 9. And you have Shedeur Sanders available. You have, Jackson Dart. You have the quarterback from Alabama, and you have the other quarterback from Louisville, who's really trending like right now, up. So if at 9, if they don't take a quarterback, like if they don't take Shedeur Sanders there, I have him taking a wide receiver, Teterio McMillan.
Arizona. I almost put him there too. Almost close.
Yeah.
I also almost put him at Chicago to give Caleb Williams another target, but I decided.
Hey, I want to shout out to Patrick Romero. He helps out a lot on BroncoNationUpdates.com. He wants Jeanty to go to his Raiders at 6.
I don't.
I think that's his favorite team, but I think as we've been talking, it's the odds are kind of against him now. Like before, it's been like, oh yeah, great chance to get to the Raiders, but now it's like, I don't know, he might be taken by Jacksonville or possibly New England.
Yep. And as far as the Saints quarterback, I think that they, with Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart, I don't think Sanders is going to be the answer down there. But Milroe and Dart as a late second, early third round pick for the Saints, I could see that happening. And you still get a decent quarterback that may be able to flourish under a Kellen Moore system. or you pick them up that route and they're cheaper. You're not taking them in the first round, but you pick up a cheaper quarterback, or maybe even never mind. Quarterback play in the UFL is horrible right now. So don't go to the UFL for a quarterback.
It hurts.
Anyway, but you get that late second, third round, maybe trade to the late second, early third round to pick you up a quarterback there, and then you look for future drafts if it doesn't pan out or if you don't see the potential.
I will say that I don't if New Orleans doesn't take Shedeur Sanders, I think he drops to 21 with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think that the Titans are if the Titans don't take Cam Ward at number 1 and they go Carter, I think that they could pick him up in the second round. I think Titans are the third pick in the second round. So I think that could be where he ends up going to the Titans at. Number 10, Chicago. This is where everybody, whenever the first mock drafts came out, this is where everyone had Jeanty going at number 10. Now, thank God, I don't have to sit there and watch Jeanty play with Caleb Williams. So I got Derek Harmon, defensive tackle from Oregon, going to Chicago. Get some help on that defensive line. I know people say they need some help on offense to give Caleb Williams more targets and more time, but defensives win championships, and there's some other offensive weapons out there or offensive linemen out there that they can develop later on in later rounds and not have to pay that kind of money to.
Yeah, and they've got they've got some good young weapons, and it wouldn't have been ideal to begin with if Jeanty were to land there. And again, thank God he's climbed up. I don't think he's gonna make it to 10. But for me, I think Tyler Warren fits in perfect there.
Yeah.
Because that will he's got that ability to bolster the offensive line too, right?
Right.
He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. They've got Adunze and they've got weapons, wide receivers. So I think that would probably be a good fit. And just I don't know, Warren he just looks like a bear,
Right. Yeah. I could see that too. I probably would have put him there if I didn't already have him going to the Jets. So that was that's not a bad pick. It's going to be interesting to see come Thursday if any or all of our picks are right.
Yeah, it probably won't be. None of them.
Yeah, that would be something. So, well, Nick, you have any last thoughts?
I'm just really excited, and I'm just really proud of Ashton Jeanty and Ahmed Hassanein. It's just been I feel like that he allowed all of us in Bronco Nation to be part of history, right?
Right.
Because he is going to, he's going to break. He's going to be the highest draft pick that we have ever had. Like, full stop. There's no doubt about it. He's going. So, this is great because last year we didn't have a draft pick. I was hoping and praying for George Holani to get picked, and
we had a pick last year.
No, he signed. He was like one of the top free agents with the Seattle. So as soon as the draft stopped. They're on the phone with him, signing him as a free agent. So the streak was broke last year. We had like 20 seasons or something like that of straight years of having a draft pick or something like that, 12 years, something like that. But
oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like literally the minute the last Mr. Irrelevant was picked, they were on the phone with him. And that's kind of the thing that you know, a lot of the players they that's what's the cool thing about these pro days, right? Is they network with some of these coaches and stuff. So, and if a coach falls in love with the player and sees, you know, that a player has one of those intangibles or a skill that they think will improve their team, maybe improve the practice squad, they'll remember them. They'll have them on their, you know, their notes, and you know, they'll be calling them. You know, I've seen it with Tyreek a couple years ago when JL was drafted, and they did the same thing with Tyreek Jones. Like the minute the draft was over, they were on the phone signing him as a free agent. So my hope is that all of our guys get a phone call and they get at least an op to get to mini camp and show what they got for the team that makes that investment for them.
Yep, it's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be a fun day tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun draft to see where the rest of our boys go.
What's up, Alex? You're late for the party.
So what are we doing Thursday, Nick? What's on the docket?
We may go live. We may go live during the draft. The cool thing about it is we won't have to wait long to hear Ashton Jeanty's name. So we may go live on TikTok. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, we go live on all platforms, but TikTok seems to be the most user friendly for having conversations and stuff like that. More people will come and go through TikTok than what we'll get on YouTube. So we're gonna obviously do all platforms just to have that extra exposure. But we're gonna field questions, answer any concerns you have, get your takes on who's picking what, and your live reactions as well as our live reactions. So
yeah, because there's always, you know, I'm a Falcon fan, so like when we need defense and they pick, like, you know, a grade 1 running back when we already have a grade 1 running back, you're like, what are you doing? So if you're like me, you know, a lowly Falcon fan, and your team knows how to screw it up on draft day, that's what our TikTok session will be. You can go in there and vent there, and we'll read your comments and your questions there. So it'll be fun.
Yep. Look forward to it.
Yep. And how you find us on TikTok, it's just at VNU. Give us a follow there. And then as well, I'm just going to ask everyone to do us a favor. If you're watching this after, you know, this has been live, give us a like on our videos, sub to the channel, because everything that all the participation that you guys do and generates revenue for Boise State. And anything that's monetized on our platforms, we do the revenue sharing with Boise State. So it's a win-win. You get the entertainment and the stats that you're looking for, and Boise State benefits too as well. So everything that we do on BroncoNationUpdates.com, Blue Elevation, everything is geared to elevate all of Boise State's programs, because I like to stack championships, and we're going to maximize the potential that we have and the reach that we have to do so. And we're not going to ever stop doing that. So we appreciate you guys watching, participating, and just follow all of our platforms. They're right there on the bottom of the screen. We are active every day on every one of those. So follow those and you won't miss anything when it comes to Boise State sports, because we have our hand in all of it. We love it because this content is by Boise State fans for Boise State fans, the only media outlet that can boast that.
Yes.
We're not getting paid. We're not alumni from other schools that are getting paid. We share this revenue with Boise State, and that's the way it should be.
Yep.
So, any last thoughts, Sam?
No, I'm good. I think I got everything out.
All right. Well, thanks for compiling all the stats
Hey,
that we looked at.
I do have one last thought for you.
Yes.
Why don't you give us a quick, brief rundown on Blue Elevation and what how the fans can donate and get their tax write-off and help the team real quick.
Yeah. So everything that that our platforms do, we are supported by our nonprofit Blue Elevation. So anything that you ever give is all tax deductible. You can write it off on your taxes. And again, we're revenue sharing that with Boise State. The great thing about our platform is you can give to specific programs, players, and it goes into that bucket, and we distribute it to Boise State on your account to whatever it is that you want to bolster. So other things that we do is we, say you want to give to the softball department. So we put it in the purse, and we can crowdsource. One of my dreams is to build an indoor facility for softball so we can have home games in February like the rest of the NCAA. Because here in Boise it's snowing still, and it's not really baseball weather. So that's one of the things I would love to do. We have a lot of different variety of ways that you can contribute, and everything that we monetize with viewership on our platforms, anything that you give is tax deductible. All subscriptions, we have the Blue Turf Talk with Chris V. He has exclusive interviews with recruits. He has an awesome show coming up with Miami Dolphin Alexander Madison coming up, and half of that will be on will be free YouTube, and then the other half will be on Chris's website. And again, if you subscribe to Blue Turf Talk with Chris V, that's tax deductible, and so that's revenue sharing with Boise State. We're the only source that does that. So totally supporting Boise State. We're all Boise State fans. We're creating content for Boise State fans by Boise State fans. To me, I think we're the only entity in the whole nation that does such a thing. I think we're unique and pioneering in that way. So, Blue Elevation is a great organization filled with great teammates. And just like the football teams and all the teams at Boise State, it takes a team, and we have a great team at Blue Elevation. And we're not going to ever stop. We've got that blue collar mentality, that never quit heart, and so we're never going to stop getting Boise State in a position where we are stacking championships and getting all of our programs to championship levels and Olympic levels when we go into the Pac-12.
Nice.
So that's us. That's Blue Elevation. We got a great team, and we're always looking to add to it. So we appreciate everyone who has supported us and those who are considering it. So really grateful for everyone, grateful for the team. And with that, thank you guys for watching. Again, please share all of our videos out to all the media platforms because it helps Boise State in the long run. So
and also go follow us at Sam Talk Sports on Facebook, at Sam Talks _sports on X.
Yep, because he's part of our team. He's our statistician expert and very integral part of this team. So support Sam.
Yep.
And he's also on our website too. And we're looking to build that website. So if you are a freelancer and you want to contribute that, and in turn, down the line, it'll bring up the views and revenue sharing for Boise State, always drop us a line. You can always contact me or contact the website, and that message will get to us, and we will hook you up and helping us out and become part of the team. So, well, until next time, thank you guys for watching Bronco Nation Live. Go Broncos.
Looking for a healthy change? Just breathe and let the Organized Experience help you embrace change. The Organized Experience team masters the art of helping people find freedom through decluttering, organizing, and creating organizing systems. So if you're looking for a healthy change in 2025, give the Organized Experience team the opportunity to help you. Please visit their website at theorganizedexperience.com. Bronco Nation Live is brought to you by Blue Elevation and the Serving Bronco Nation directory. Hey Bronco Nation, if you're looking for more followers, clients, or customers, check out ServingBroncoNation.com and get your business added to the directory. When you purchase a tax-deductible plan, you are investing in Boise State and getting access to millions of views throughout the year on the directory and the Bronco Nation network.